This is Andy Purewell for Boxing News. I'm joined by promoter Eddie Hearn here in God's Country here in Birmingham. Eddie, your man Ben Whittaker delivered a highlight reel knockout. The one thing which you could have asked for, he delivered tonight. Talk to me about a brief stint in the ring, but exactly what you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, that's what special fighters do. You know, we know that, or hoped that he would be too good for Gavazzi, and we expected Gavazzi to be very tough and to give him rounds. That's the reputation he came with. But what you got to do when you're in with fighters below your level is destroy them and go through them like that. If you can do it in a way that produces a showreel knockout that's viewed by millions of people around the world virally for the next few days, even better. And he did exactly that. I mean, you know, the ring walk was outstanding. The kid's a superstar. He really is. And he can fight. You know, forget the showmanship, forget the massive social media following, forget the ring walks. He can really fight. And I believe you could be looking at, you know, one of the future global superstars of boxing.
I spoke with you and Ben this earlier in the week in terms of, do you expect to see him trying to be flashy, showboaty, or trying to be ruthless the way he was in that second Cameron fight? He was ruthless tonight. Do you think that's the path he wants to go down? He just wants to be ruthless in the ring.
I just think when you step up levels, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot more levels to go through, you don't really do that kind of stuff as much, you know. And I think he was razor focused as well. I think, you know, Andy Lee said to me tonight, "Do you want to, you know, how much showmanship do you want to see in there tonight?" But you can't. You know, you can't take any risks like that at this stage against guys that are live. You've got to go in there and do the job. There's more showmanship to come, especially when he goes to America. But, you know, for now, that was absolutely perfect.
I know you spoke about America, Japan, amongst other places, but just in terms of what's next, you mentioned potentially the winner of Richard's disease. Do you think that's one which makes sense?
Yeah, I think there is literally a dozen opponents that we could talk about now. And, you know, he's had 11 fights, and I know there'll always be pressure from fans and, you know, to move him as quickly as possible. We're not going to mess this up. We've got a guy who can be, like I said, a stadium filler all over the country, all around the world. We just got to have the ability to do it right. When you talk about Richards, you talk about Aziz, you talk about Hutchinson, Callum, Boatzy, Yard. These are guys that have had dozens and dozens of fights. And Ben has the ability to be the very best in the division. All he needs is that experience to go with it. So we've got to keep him active. We've got to keep stepping up. We've got to make sure the opposition is acceptable. And it will be. And it will be there before you know it.
Some great fights on the undercard. Just to touch on a couple, Bowen and Colin.
Yeah.
Colin coming out on top in that one. Close fight,
Yeah.
but what did you make of it?
Thought, you know, listen, respect to Cowlin, because he looked like he was done in round 5, was it? He got knocked down, and you know, he came back in the fight very close. Thought it could have gone either way. We'll run that one back in well, not too early, 2026, because they'll need a rest. But we'll definitely do the rematch there. Brilliant. Aaron Bowen's always in great fights, but he's got to get better. Cameron Vong against Gavin Gwynn, another great fight. Like, you know, for me, actually this time around, I was honest enough in the first one to say I thought Gwynn won 6-4. I thought Cameron won 6-4 in this one. But again, 20 very close rounds, and maybe, you know, I think Cameron's going to be really down with himself, but the reality is he's had just 10 fights. He's fought Gavin Gwynn twice, he's fought Jeff Afori, he's fought Jordan Flynn, you know, but, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to Gavin Gwynn, you've got to be beating people like Gavin Gwynn if you're going to be a world level fighter. But Cameron's very young. So he's got time, but it's, you know, he'll be back. He'll have a big 20, and he'll be better for that as well.
Spider Sullivan.
Yeah, great performance. I mean, he's another fighter from obviously from round here. He's got great support. Very exciting to watch. His first title tonight. Good win for Molly McCann, Zelfa Barrett, Alfie Middlemiss. I thought it was a great show.
Show clash tonight as well. Obviously, had the Jamie TKV Fraser Clark fight over in Derby. Your old mate Ben Shalom, a few words earlier this week suggesting you're just a 50-year-old man working for your father. Yeah. What did you make of that? And is that rivalry reigniting again?
No, it can't be reignited because there's no rivalry. It's like, I mean, you know, I think there's other promoters out there that are on another level to Ben Shalom in this country. Izzy Azif, Johnny Clark, you know, top tier, and GBM I think are much bigger and better than Boxer at the moment. Obviously Queensbury and, you know, and Wasserman and so forth. But yeah, the rivalry's good. I mean, look, Ben went missing for 3 or 4 months because he didn't want to go in front of a camera because he had nothing to say, and you know, he got kicked off Sky. And you know, it's kind of like, I feel like the best way to describe that is what we built on Sky was just phenomenal. Like, it was such a golden period for British boxing, and we turned Sky Sports boxing into the biggest powerhouse in the sport. And it was a bit like, you know, when you go back to the great American 4x100 relay teams, I was like Carl Lewis going round the bend, like all the glory. We were miles clear. There was no one that could touch us. And it's like you turn around and you give the baton, and you know when the geezer just fumbles the baton and starts kicking it over and goes over. That's what they did. I mean, my legacy will always be remembered for that. Ben's, at the moment, will be really remembered for single-handedly completely crushing and ruining boxing on Sky Sports. Actually, to the point where they don't even really want to do boxing anymore. And I feel sorry more for the people at Sky, the amazing people, the commentators, the people that worked in boxing. They deserve better. So, you know, I've been through that process, and it's not for everyone, this game. But, yeah, I do work for my dad. I'm very proud to work for my dad, but I'm 46, not 50. Surely I'm, you know, thought I'm looking well.
Looking well, Eddie. Always looking well. Just one more on that. Show clash again. It was reported they're going to go on January 31st. You have Murtaz Aliyev versus Kelly up in Sunderland. Frustrations on that note because it's going to happen potentially on that day?
Yeah, I just think it's a bit of a different audience sometimes. I mean, obviously you're going to do bigger numbers on BBC because you've got that casual fan base that actually half the people are actually sitting there on their sofas, not asleep, but like, you know, you've got that generation that don't have apps and don't watch live sport on digital TV. So, yeah, it is what it is. I just think there's so many shows. I don't know what the show is. What is the show?
Adam Azim.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah. Listen, I mean, I'm sure they're going to do good numbers on BBC, but financially it's very difficult to make it work. But, you know, like again tonight, I think obviously we know that the audience will be good, but boxing fans are tuning in to watch this show over that show. But I wish everybody the best, and it's not a bad thing that they're on BBC.
Just a couple to round off on. You've mentioned Rolly Romero for Conor Ben as a potential fight, but obviously Shakram Girsov's there as a mandatory. Are you going to push for that one instead? What's the latest with him?
No, I mean, people just ask me who we want to face, and we talk about all the champions. His Excellency talked about the winner, Ryan Garcia against Conor Ben in Cinco de Mayo, if he comes through Barrios. So right now, that's something that's got Conor Ben very excited.
What about Girsov and Rolly?
Yeah, I mean, that fight's been mandated. They've put in an exemption request to fight Manny Pacquiao, of which obviously we're refuting because we believe that fight's not done yet, and Girsov's waited for a long, long time. So, yeah, we'll have to see.
Callum Smith morale to purse bids as well.
Yeah, we kind of got to deal with His Excellency on that fight, but we're waiting on a date. So I'm not sure purse bids will proceed, but obviously we need to finalise that as soon as possible.
So last one from me, I didn't catch you down the railway. You know they've actually made a curry after yourself now, yeah.
Oh, mate, do you know what? Are they still open now?
They're not.
No? Oh, yeah, I need a little takeaway if you got a decent one around here. Little.
It's a bit out of the way here.
Is it? Yeah, okay. All right.
Next time round, Eddie, but thanks, Ed.